let's talk about greenwashing. That's why we're all here. I'm going to discuss 6 types of greenwashing that you might come across when you do some research of your own. So, first off, greenwashing. The term was created back in the 1980s by Jay Westerveld, as you can see here. And the definition of greenwashing is behavior or activities that make people believe that a company is doing more to protect the environment than it really is. So let's look at those 6 types that I was talking about. First off, we've got green labeling. Well, green labeling is where companies will use eco labels to falsely claim a product or service is more sustainable than it actually is. So that actually misleads consumers. So the example we've got here is Unilever's cleaning brand Persil. And back in 2022, they released an advert in which they claimed Persil was kinder to our planet. And the advert actually featured children picking up litter on a beach. Well, the Advertising Standards Authority, or the ASA, now you're going to hear that quite a lot throughout this webinar. They said that the advert's claim wasn't backed up with evidence. So they banned it after they concluded that the basis of the claim, kinder to our planet, had not been made clear. Now, the next example, the next term we've got here is misleading or false data. So this is where companies will often fabricate data or fund research to produce misleading data that improves their image. So the example you can see here is the hydrogen-powered Hyundai Nexo car, which was launched back in 2019. They described the car as so beautifully clean that it purifies the air as it goes. Now, I don't know about you, but that sounds too good to be true to me. And the ASA back in 2021 also ruled that it was. They found that while the car did filter incoming air, it still released pollutants from tyre and brake wear, so it ruled it misleading. Next up, we've got green lighting. Now, this is where companies use marketing to point out particular green features of its products or services. And that diverts attention away from poor environmental practices that they're performing elsewhere. So the example here is we've got HSBC, and there were a lot of complaints to the ASA over posters that appeared on the high street up to the lead to COP26 climate change conference. The adverts highlighted how the bank had actually invested $1 trillion in climate initiatives, so climate-friendly initiatives, and that's such as tree planting or helping clients hit climate targets. But despite this, they were still financing investments in businesses that emitted large levels of carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases. So the ASA looked at that and said, we concluded that the ads omitted material information and therefore were misleading. So next one here, greenwashing. So greenwashing is where corporate communications deliberately underplay, underreport, and hide data on sustainability. So the example you'll see here is H&M's Conscious collection, and that featured clothes made from organic cotton and recycled polyester. But actually, H&M's overall business practices have been criticised as not being sustainable, such as overproducing clothes leading to excess waste. This one is green shifting. I bet you didn't realise there were so many types. So this involves transferring responsibility to consumers in kind of a bit of a blame game. And companies do this by highlighting consumer choices rather than their sustainability strategies. And this diverts attention away from their own environmental responsibilities. So an example here is BP's Know Your Carbon Footprint campaign. They launched a carbon calculator and they invited their customers to share their pledges for reducing emissions. And within the same year, BP also spent millions on an advertising campaign about its low carbon energy and cleaner natural gas. Well, actually, in reality, more than 96% of its annual expenditure was still on oil and gas at the time. So now we've looked at all these types of greenwashing, you might be sitting there thinking, well, why should I care about all this? Well, actually, there's quite a few reasons why you should. So let's talk about them. So we've got misleading information. So greenwashing can actually mislead consumers by providing false or exaggerated information about a product's environmental impact. So this can lead to the consumers making choices based on misinformation. There's a waste of resources. So by falsely claiming to be environmentally friendly, it's not only going to mislead customers, but it's going to result in wasted energy, materials, and other valuable resources. It actually undermines genuine efforts of companies that are really trying to be environmentally, to say the right thing. And they're going to be overshadowed by those engaging in greenwashing. There's a financial impact. So consumers are going to end up paying a premium for products that claim to be environmentally friendly, but they don't live up to those claims. And the consumer's just going to end up feeling cheated. We've got a lack of accountability. Greenwashing often allows companies to avoid being held accountable for their actual environmental impact. I feel this next one's really important. There's actually a lack of trust. So when customers discover that they've been misled, that's going to lead to a loss of confidence with the brand. There's an impact on regulatory measures. So greenwashing can reduce public pressure for stricter environmental regulations. And the last one, I think, is probably one of the most important, is that if consumers are made aware of greenwashing, and then they can hold companies accountable, and the consumers can actually drive positive change. So quite a number of reasons not to do it.